Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kit Cave. First things first, big thanks to everybody that's hit the like button and the subscribe for the channel for the previous videos. Back with you all again um, with another update on the current build series of the USS Enterprise 1/1400 scale Enterprise D. I gotta be honest, everybody, I am still drilling windows. It is taking absolutely forever, but still, there we go. It is what it is. So a bit of a mess in front of the camera there. I will jump in and start to go through bits and pieces I've been working on since the last video. I think where I left off last time, I was working on the neck piece as it is here, putting these panel lines in using the tape. I won't go back over what I was doing or how I did that. I was getting those bits ready to make a mold, which we can kind of see in front of us here. This was the mold that was made of those two pieces. Move all this out the way. Got the mold made so I could cast this piece into clear resin. Before I did that, though, I did a test piece. As we can see here, this is just some old polyurethane, clear white polyurethane resin I've had knocking around the cave for the last couple of years. And I did this test piece more so just to test the mold, make sure the mold actually came out well. Everything was fine. I did what I said I was going to do. First of all, on the original pieces, I did a very, very thin layer of the silicone over the top, very, very thin skim layer. That allowed the silicone to get into all the recesses, to get into all the detail, and for any air bubbles to dissipate, and then refilled the mold over the top of it to create the mold that we see here. The silicone, even. Get your words out today. So yeah, test piece cast. Don't know how well it's going to pick up on camera. So you can see up here, this is nothing to worry about. That was just where some air was trapped in the polyurethane resin. This stuff got a bit of flex to it. As we can see there, it's flexing quite a bit. It is sturdy, but it's flexing. So these little holes there, that's just the air bubbles, but I'm not concerned about that. As I said, it's just a test piece that I did. The other thing with this stuff is it's got a very, very short pot life, 2.5 minutes of working time. Once it's mixed, you've got 2.5 minutes to get it into the mold. So very tricky to deal with on a mold of this type. However, it did highlight a bit of a problem, which I kind of suspected was going to happen, and it's kind of up here. And I thought the problem was going to be here on the corners. I thought I was going to get air trapped here, and these wouldn't come out properly. But as we can see, they absolutely did. Where the air got caught was at the top here. Hence, that's why this bit's missing. But that was an easy fix. I just went to the mold, over to the mold there, and at the top, just cut out a groove, cut out a channel on both sides of the mold. And that is essentially allowing the air to escape. So when the liquid pours in and starts to pull down and round, it pushes the air along this channel, up through this hole up the top here, fills up the mold completely. So first test piece has come out pretty well. Captured all the detail there. It's looking pretty nice. So over with the clear then. Here it is, recast into clear. Again, it's picked up all those panel lines, all that work spent getting all these panel lines in did pay off in the end. I've got a few air bubbles. I don't know if you can pick that up. A few air bubbles in the mix there. And these are not actually on the surface of here. They're not in the surface. You can feel that they're not on the surface. That's inside, but that's okay. I'm not really that bothered about it. Once this is all painted up, it's going to be painted, of course, in white, then in primer grey first, and gone from there. But it's come out pretty bloody well. I know it's hard to make it out on camera, but it's captured the detail quite well. And dare I say it, once it's sprayed over in grey, the detail will shine out a bit more. Not too worried about how this bit came out down here, detail-wise. I didn't bother to faff around to accurize this, as I've got the photo etch set from Green Strawberry to go on there, so that's okay. So this is it. This is the piece ready to go, ready to cast. A little bit of flex there, which is good because it does need spreading out when it's on the kit. There it is. Bit of cleanup to be done down the bottom there. and it's ready to rock and roll. Take this pin out, sand that down, and there we are, recast into clear. So of course what that benefits now is that I can light it. And again go back to the nightmare of trying to get these windows into these panels. Now I've actually figured out a way to do it this time, and I've been experimenting with it. So a little bit more on that in just a little while. I kind of experimented on here. I don't know if you can see that, how I've picked that up on camera, but if you can see that. So I've practiced some window drilling here. And I'll explain how I've done this. I don't know if you can pick that up. And so, you know, the process that I've used for this is what I'm going to be using for the clear part, because that's come out really well. You know, I'm happy with that. It's come out beautifully. So how did I do that? How did I manage to get those little windows in there like that? Drilled out. Now they're not drilled all the way through, as you can see. Well, bear with me guys, bit of a long story. While I was waiting for the this clear piece to set inside the mold, I decided to start working on the lower half of the model kit. Started working on this piece, got all the windows drilled out on the last video, managed to get all these windows open, all looking good, give it a bit of a sand. It needs another bit of a sanding over just to get it a bit more beautified. But that was all well and good, great. So I got the windows drilled out, the stock windows that were in there as part of the kit. They're the ones that I'm not going to be having any light shining through are there. Brilliant. So I started working on this piece, doing the same thing. Started to open up the windows, drill them through, doing that same process that I covered last time. And using the scraping technique. Scraping technique with a sharp blade to scrape off the raised panel detailing. What I noticed that with the scraping technique to get rid of the panel detailing, I was starting to lose the definition of the windows that were not going to be opened. Started to lose that recess, started to lose that definition there. And so I stopped and started scratching my head, and I thought, oh Christ, here we go. How am I going to get around this? And so I kind of thought, oh, I mulled it over for a few hours, and I thought, well, there's only one thing for it. I'm going to have to keep going because all that raised panel detailing's got to come off because I don't like it. It's got to come off, but I'm going to lose the recessed windows in the process. So I thought, right, there's only one thing for it then. I'm just going to have to go ahead and drill out every single window on the kit. And so that's why we're seeing on the back of here, what I did was I got a Sharpie and marked the open windows, the ones that have already been drilled, to allow the light to shine through, in preparation then to start drilling out all of these windows. And the process being, because these are marked, these are the ones that would stay open. Once all the other windows are drilled, they would then get covered over with a bit of plastic on the back to be light blocked. And there we go. So a lot more messing around. And then this is when I had a little bit of a Bob Ross moment. Anybody that's that's old enough to remember Bob Ross having his little happy accidents. I went over to my drill bit case. This is my 0.3 drill bits, which I've been using to drill these windows out. Pack of 10 like this. And as I went to open it, now to be fair, this case up here, this little clip, is quite strong. It's quite a stiff case to try and get open. And I was having a bit of trouble trying to get this open. I was putting a bit of pressure on. I was trying to get it open. And then all of a sudden, it kind of popped open. Oh, God, there we go. It popped open. And as it popped, it jumped in my hand. As it did that, I don't know if you can make that out, it broke 8 out of the 10 bits that were in there. Snapped them straight off as I opened the case. I don't know if you can make that out. There we go. So the air went a little bit blue for about 10 minutes. I'm not going to lie, it did go blue. And then I calmed down a little bit. Luckily, I had the forethought of when I ordered these and bought these from eBay, I bought 2 packs of these. So I actually do have a spare pack unopened. So I'll be a little bit more careful next time to open these up. And then I looked at the bits themselves and I thought, oh, actually, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. This might actually work to my advantage. I don't know if this is going to pick it up on camera. Little 0.3mm drill bit there. I snapped it. Let's get it in front of the camera. I don't know if that's picking that up. Probably isn't. Very hard to make it out. You can just about make it out there. Got a tiny, tiny little bit right at the end there of the actual the shaft, the drill shaft that's still remaining. Little tiny bit right there. And it was kind of a bit of a light bulb moment. And I thought, oh, actually, I wonder if I can use these snapped ends almost like a router bit. Now, for those of you that may know or don't know, a router or router bit is, of course, what woodworkers use. They use it in a router tool to route out wood, doing recessed grooves and paneling and all that kind of thing. I thought maybe I can do the same with this. And rather than actually opening up every single one of these windows, which is going to take more time, more effort, maybe I can just recess them, router it out, whatever you want to call it, route it down. So it's a recessed window. And so I experimented with that. Experimented on this piece, and it actually worked pretty bloody good. So that's what I've been doing. Not only have I been opening up all the windows to allow the light to shine through, but I've been going over all the windows that are not going to have the light shining through, using that technique or that method, those drill bits, to recess down those windows. Still time-consuming process, I'm not going to lie, because it's a case of getting the drill bit in there and literally just using the very tip, the tiny little bit that's left, get it in there, work it into the plastic, up and down like that, to get it into that window, create the window outlet there, and then in with the tip of a hobby knife to clean out and cut out all the flash and all the little bit of plastic bits and pieces that are left in there. And this is what we're seeing here. And this is kind of what I've been working on over the last couple of weeks, every bit of spare time I've had. And so what we've got now, not only do we have the windows open up here to allow the light to pass through, but any windows that are not going to be opened are recessed in. And so what that means is, at the very end, I mean, all these windows are going to get closed anyway. They're going to be filled in with clear UV resin, every single one of them, to create, obviously, the glass paneling. But that's come out really, really well. I'm quite happy with that. It saved me a lot of time. Still a time-consuming process, but it saved time at the same time as well. And so that's what I've been doing, working all the way over this piece, recessing in all those windows and opening them all up. And I've got to be honest, I actually quite like it like that. Now, quite often when we see kits like this, and I'm just as guilty of doing it as everybody else is, we open up the windows and then just leave these recessed ones, the ones that are originally molded into the kit as they are, and then we just kind of paint them over, a bit of dark paint, and Bob's your uncle. Which works. It does work, of course it does, but again, it looks like what it is. Let's be honest, it looks like a painted panel. It doesn't actually look like a true window. Whereas this is actually looking more like real windows, and when they're filled in with the clear UV resin, that's going to look pretty bloody good. And I'm kind of thinking maybe I'm not going to be painting in here at the very end. Once it's all done, I'm probably not going to paint these in black either. I'm just going to let the paint itself that goes on here do the job of darkening or making a shadow inside the window, and then just letting the light reflect off the clear resin that's in there, creating the illusion of an actual window. There we go, look at that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. So good plan. So little happy accident moment, but it works out really, really, really well. Again, you know, this is about the cleanest I can get these windows. They're never going to get any cleaner than that, sadly, but there we go. Done the best I can. So that's what I've been doing, guys. Been working on this piece using that little method. Got me drill bit here is me me new one. God, that was a good bit of an accent there. Here's my new tool bit, Dremel tool that I ordered a few weeks ago with one of those snapped off bits in there. Made that out there, and that's exactly what I've been doing. Just going over every single window, groove them all out, recessing them down in there like that, taking them out. And it's working really, really well. So that's going to be the plan for the rest of the kit. So it is a case of I'm going to be drilling every single window. However, half the windows are going to be opened up completely. The other half are going to be recessed. And there we are. Last few days then I've been spent working mainly on this piece. All the windows done, all sanded back, nice and smooth, rescribing in the panel lines here, making an adjustment at the top there. I had to scribe in some new lines there because I'm trying to get this as accurate to the studio scale model as possible. Now I know these windows are not 100% accurate, or in places where they are, but I'm prepared to mess around with it that much. But there we go. So I've been scribing those in this morning. I popped these two little windows in here and along the neck piece, again using that snapped off drill bit to groove those in there, router them, whatever you want to call it, recess them if you like. Same on this side. A couple of little extra windows had to go in at the top here, and again up here, and again onto that bit. And there we are. That's what I've been working on. More window drilling. So all that leaves then is coming back over to this piece, and I'm going to do the same thing. All the windows now that I'm not going to be open, they're all going to get recessed. They're all going to get recessed out in the same fashion. When that bit's done, then I will come back to this neck piece, get this tidied up, chop this off, paint it over in white paint first, so that will obviously bounce the light around once the LEDs are inside of here. Spray it over with the grey primer, mark where all the windows are going to be, and then, like I've experimented on this piece, doing that same thing, recess the windows into there. Now the good thing is, with this being the clear piece, they only need to be recessed, not chopped all the way through, and the light will shine straight through it. So that's the plan for that bit. When that bit is done, it's then over to the saucer sections, and repeat the process. Drill out all the windows again, open up the windows, drill out all the windows that are not going to be opened up as well. I can grab a piece out because I've already gone through right at the very start and pilot hold all these windows where we've got the pilot holes. These are the ones that are going to be opened up completely to allow the light to come through. Then it's going to be back into all of these ones here, using the same thing, same technique, drill them down, recess them, ready to go, and then I can start getting rid of all of this horrible raised panel detailing. There we go. So it continues, more window drilling, and it's taken absolutely forever. More so because it's a case of me trying to get this as best I can, as accurate as I can, because this is the Enterprise D. It's my #1 most favorite starship of them all, because I grew up with Star Trek: The Next Generation. Grew up with the motion picture and all the original cast and crew members, and the Enterprise refit, for which I've got the 1/350 scale already done. Did that a few years ago, but the D is a special one for me, and so I'm going all out to try and get this as best as I can make it to be. All that leaves on this piece, when I get to that stage, is literally just done to move these two bits. They need to go up a deck higher, fill in all this detail, get that smooth, put in a bit of plastic down the spine here where it should be. There's some more windows that need to go across the top of here, but I'm going to leave that till a little bit later on down the line. They need to be drilled out as well, and then I can start working on this piece down here, getting that more flared out, a little bit more of a subtle groove, if you like, going up into there to get that accurate. But there we go. Taking forever. I got to be honest. Of all the kits I've built over the years, this is the worst. It is the worst for the sheer amount of time spent just on what I class the preparation stage. And when I do my model kits, I always kind of break it into 4 to 5 different sections of when I build. It's the preparation stage. So what I mean by that, the pieces straight out the box, prep them, cutting off any flash, bit of sanding, that kind of thing. A couple of windows to open up if needed, get them prepped and ready for the installation stage, which is stage 2, which is all the light blocking and the installing of all the lights, the LEDs, the electronics, and all that kind of thing. Also, along with any accurize resin aftermarket parts or photo etch details, that's part of the installation stage. Then stage 3 comes after that, which is the assembly stage, putting all the bits and pieces together, gluing them down, sorting out any light leaks and blocking, and doing putting and filling work, to then move on to stage 4, which of course is all the painting and the final detailing and all that kind of thing. And I'm still on stage 1. But there we go, is what it is. Now again, you know, some of you out there might be thinking, well, why don't you just buy the clear kit? Well, I didn't. But to be fair, I probably would have done this same thing. I probably would have used this same technique of recessing out these windows, every single one of them on the clear kit, because you know, you would have had the same issue by sanding off the raised detailing on these parts. You would have started to lose, and some of you may have even come across that. Those of you out there that have had the clear kit, you may have come across that when you've been sanding, you're starting to lose the definition of the windows themselves. So it would have had the same issue. So it wouldn't have really mattered, clear or opaque, same thing. I would have ended up doing the exact same technique. But there we go. There we are, everybody. That's what I've been doing. Weeks and weeks and weeks, hours and hours and hours doing it. Taking forever, taking longer than I would like, but hey ho, it's not a race. It'll get done. And it'll all come out in the wash at the end, I hope. Bloody better. Let's put it that way. Bloody better for the amount of time and effort that this is taking. I mean, okay, you know, I've made a rod off my own back by trying to, you know, go all out with this kit and make it as accurate and as best as I possibly can with all the aftermarket parts I've bought, and you know, putting together all the electronics for the Arduino boards and all the special effects and the light and sound effects at the beginning, you know. But why not? Why not? It's all good fun. It's a labour of love. It's a labour of love. There we go. There we are, everybody. Progress update number. God knows what it is now. Lost count. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. But there we go. Well, one last other thing I did when I made the mold of the neck piece, I did recast these parts as well into clear. These are the phaser strips. Now I bought the resin phaser strips off of Motion Picture Miniatures. Only £10, so well worth it. And I decided to make a mold of these and recast these out. I don't know if you can just about make it out. You know, that picked up the detail really well, really well. And again, no air bubbles in that whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic how that come out. The reason for recasting the Motion Picture Miniature parts into clear was more so for the upper saucer section. I wanted them to be in clear resin to allow the light of the phaser strip firing, lighting up and coming through without too much light blocking happening. So they've been done, ready to be installed when the time comes, which is probably going to end up being in about 5 or 6 years, I imagine, by the time I get all these bloody windows drilled out. But there we are. And there we go. That's what I've been doing. Sorry for the rambling on today's video, everybody. It's just been a long, laborious process, and it's still continuing. But there we go. Not much more I can really say. That's where I'm at with progress. Just still trying to get all these bits done. Trying to get all these windows out. Some of you might be thinking, well, why not just work on one bit at a time? You know, do this bit, accurize all this, get all the wiring, all that kind of thing, all the electronics installed into this first. When that's done, move on to the next piece, so on and so on and so on. Yeah, I could do that, but really, I just want to get these windows done. I just want to get all this, you know, all this laborious, time-consuming window drilling bit done and out the way, and then I'll never have to do it again on this kit ever. Because I gotta be honest, the thought of ever having to come back and do all this again, all these windows, just doesn't bear thinking about. But there we go. Anyway, I'll stop rambling now. I'll stop rambling and I'll get on with it. So all I'll be doing then this afternoon is just working on these, get these windows started and carry on from there. Sorry for the rambling, everybody. I hope everybody's been well, and I hope you've all been having a very great weekend and a fantastic week. There we go. I'll be back with another progress update soon, I hope, depending on how long it takes me to carry on getting these bits done. Hopefully now with the process that I've got in place, it's actually a little bit quicker. Also, I did change one last thing. Sorry, everybody, for the long video. One last thing, and on my last video, I showed the process of how I open up these windows. I did actually change that process. Rather than using the 3mm drill bit at first, I did start to go in and just use a 0.5mm drill bit just to try and speed up the process a little bit. And I kind of did it on this side. You can't really tell much difference, to be fair. But there we go. There we go. Anyway, stop mulling it over, Steve. Get on with it. I'll wrap up there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, apologies for the rambling on the video. I often do that. I really should write out a script, shouldn't I? But then, hey ho, is what it is. I'm not a TV presenter. I'm just a guy sat in his man cave doing stuff. But there we go. Everybody, take care. I'll be back soon, hopefully, with another progress update for you. Have a very great weekend, or what's left of the weekend, and a fantastic week ahead. And hopefully I'll be back very, very soon. Everybody take care now. Bye-bye.